Ghana Environmental Protection Agency was fortunate to be sponsored by the World Bank under the Ghana Environmental Resource Management Project. So during the project in 1994, the World Bank assisted us with some air quality monitors, which we started monitoring in the cities of Accra, Tema, Takoradi, and in the mining areas. And we monitored this and then came out with some air quality guidelines that we developed for the country in the year 2000. Then after the year 2002, we started having some challenges with the monitors. So we stopped monitoring until 2005 when we had a cooperation with the United States of America, EPA. And then we decided to restructure the air pollution, and we started putting monitors also in Accra and generating data. I must say that we have been able to monitor from that time with 6 monitors in Accra. Now we have 15. And based on the information that we had from the year 2001 and 1994 up to 2004, we decided to also conduct other studies, because that time we were using lead in fuel as an octane enhancer. So we did the research, monitor lead in air and then in soil, and the levels were really very high. We move on to monitor in human blood, and the level was very, very high. So we just said, why can't we look at the policy direction of helping to reduce air pollution? So we came out with what we called a proposal to the government of Ghana. Now, why can't we have some form of mass transportation? Because the transport sector was beset with a lot of pollution. So we came out with what we call the Metro Mass Transit System as a pilot, and then look at the policies that were in place under the transport sector. So we subjected the policies into what we call strategic environmental assessment to see the levels of compliance, enforcement of these policies, where we have failures, where we have to learn lessons from. So after doing that, we have to restructure, revamp, and update the policy on the transport sector. And then also look at the traffic regulations also, and the policy was also revamped. So we went on and said, no, why is it that if we are looking at the metro transit system and the positive responses we were getting from, especially during the vehicular emission system, then we decided that why can't we work with Danida? So we worked with the Danish government, and then came up with, it's a project called Danida Project, and then came out that why can't we look at the whole system under the transport, look at the road corridor, look at the emissions that are coming, and then look at how we can have a bicycle lanes and all those things. So we look at the planning in general, and we came out with some infrastructure policies, working with the assemblies. And this really also helped us to move to the next step. So when we did that, we collected data emissions from over 10,000 vehicles in direct emissions from them countrywide. So looking at that emissions, so why can't we move another step to look at the standard aspect, or maybe also help the vehicle licensing authority to also restructure their system. So through the same process, EPA assisted the Ministry of Transport to come out and computerize all the registration systems in the country. So now we have them on computers, so I was able to get vehicle inventories and the rest. So those inventories has really also helped us to do our fuel economy, program. And now we'll be able to calculate our fuel economy from the vehicles. And then we also will be able to reduce sulfur in fuel, which also is a catalyst to emissions. So we also have reduced it from 3,000 ppm in diesel to 50 ppm now. So Ghana is improving now. And then the other aspect is that the air quality data that we also have generated over the years, we have used that one to also update the air quality guidelines. Now we are sending into a form of a standards. So now we have the draft standards that we had in August this year. We had a national stakeholder on it, and then it's being considered under the National Technical Review Committee under the Standard Bureau to be able to convert it into standards and then have the regulations to